Hey folks, Matt Sharp here with another Pacific Angler Friday fishing report. We are filming for almost September 1, and everybody knows that that is a big day, big month when it comes to fishing around Vancouver. So I thought I'd tune in with y'all. We are going to go over the opening, the saltwater opening we've all been waiting for, which is on September 1 on Sunday. And I'm going to definitely be getting out. I'm getting out Monday. I'm also going to do the interior, so I'm going to be playing around with some carp. Friday, Saturday, Sunday as you guys are watching this. However, we managed to nail down JT and get him to talk about what he's going to be using. He's going to be out there opening day for sure. When it comes to flashers, when it comes to bait, when it comes to teaser heads. So we're going to talk about that in the middle of the report. Now, September is also another huge month. Why? Because salmon fishing on the rivers is coming. And we're going to take a quick peek at what we're seeing in the Albion test fisheries. That plays in with you saltwater guys. And interestingly enough, the news isn't all that great when I look at the numbers. Not sure what's going on there. I'm scratching my head. We'll talk about it in the report as well. Also, we've got some closures on the Chilliwack. That's a big one. Fishing's not going to be good right off the hop in September on the Chilliwack, but by about the 10th, it should be getting really good. Unfortunately, there are going to be some closures that you want to be aware of, and we're going to share those with you in the river section of the report. Finally, the two fisheries that I love, which is the interior trout fishing, that's Skagit, Thompson, as well as interior lake fishing, is good in September. And we're going to talk about that a bit because I've been tying a bunch to load up for lake season. Excited about that. And don't sleep on the Skagit or the Thompson if you can still get out there before it gets cold, because September is one of the best months of the year. Now, we're going to have a really detailed report coming out Friday where Taylor goes over the vetter. Jason goes over the saltwater scene, what to expect, where to go, what to look for. And I'm going to tune in with some river stuff as well as some lake stuff. But if you want to sit back and relax and listen to me ramble on and drink beer/wine today, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start off with the bad news. Well, cheers to almost September. I'm drinking a rosé today. Why? Because I kind of want summer to stay here, but I also know that looking forward to fall as one of the coolest times to be a fisherman around Vancouver is worth it as well. So what do we got? Well, the Chilliwack I'm going to start with because it's not all that great of news. There's going to be some flood restoration work on the river, specifically in spots that, yes, a lot of people will want to angle, and a number of the trails are closed down. A number of the access to river areas are going to be closed down. I'm going to stick the map right up here. I want everyone to get educated. There's a QR code on this map. We're going to link it in the written version of the report. You want to be checking that for the most recent updates. I'm not going to get into the politics behind that. I think it's a classic government one of let's do a bunch of work when the river is going to be used the most. However, I don't know enough about it, so I'm not going to comment. I know the boys and girls out in the valley are working hard to try to make it work so that there are access points and we can have a good season. I still think there's going to be great fishing, so all is not doom and gloom. However, it is something, if you are planning on fishing the Chilliwack this fall season, that you will want to stay tuned on. All right, Taylor's going to go over what to expect, what our timing is looking like. Historically, it's around the 10th of September. So if you guys want to book some stuff off, I would be looking at the 10th weekend, the 20th weekend, the 30th weekend to be when things really start getting going there. However, early scout trips, even right now, we've heard the odd fish being caught. So it might be worth putting boots to ground on. Now let's talk about a couple other fisheries before we get to that big one. I don't want to miss lake fishing. I'm getting ready for lake fishing. I'm going to be going in the back end of September and October, and a lot of people sleep on that. But those interior lakes that you love in May and June can be fabulous in the fall as well. Little pro tip, I've been tying a lot of chronomids. You guys might have seen a couple of our Instagrams. But I did this year, and I've been thinking about it forever. And these are just stolen pictures of chronomids. But if you guys and girls are fly tyers, there's nothing better than print off a bunch of pictures, stick them on your fly tying vise, and you're going to have way less stupid looking chironomids at the end of your tying session. I know it helped me where I was doing some funny stuff, just trying to picture the chironomid in my brain. Well, stick some pictures next to you. Little pro tip for those tires getting ready. Jason's going to have a pretty detailed outlook on it when we start seeing temperatures get a little bit cooler, because that's what we're looking for. Water temperature is king this time of year. If you're planning to go to the interior, we want things to cool off. And so look for that to happen next week or the week after, depending on what the weatherman does. Now, let's talk weather. We got good weather for the weekend, which is great. There's going to be a little bit of wind, but nothing, at least in the short-term forecast, that worries me. And we're going to be sitting 22, 22, 23, 27, 23, right through with mostly sun. Winds sort of in the 8 to 15 knot range, at least as I am writing the report right now. So for you saltwater guys, that's great. The interior is still hot. We're still looking, I pulled it up earlier, we're still looking at 30s, which is great for me because I'm going carp fishing and I love warm weather for that. However, for you lake anglers, you're going to want to look a little higher elevation until things cool down. Now, another one to talk about is going to be the trout rivers, and we've still got time on those. Don't sleep on the Skagit or the Thompson. This time of year can be excellent, especially on the Thompson when we aren't getting a big salmon year. It looks, when we're looking at the Albion numbers, that we're definitely not getting a big sockeye year, and the Chinook numbers might be a little lower as well. Not sure what's going on there in the Albion numbers. I was geeking out on it for a while, and there's a lot of factors that come into that Albion test fishery, and I unfortunately haven't done my research this year, but note that the numbers are lower than last year and quite low compared to the maybe 20-year average. So just keep that in mind, but flip it around. If there's not a ton of sockeye / Chinook pushing up into the Thompson, it can fish great into September. And then Skagit is one of my favorite times to fish, is when things start cooling off, sort of in that early September range. We did a little bit of bug geeking out, and I want to talk about this guy because we still got 2 of these left in the shop. And this is the Western Mayfly hatches. If you are geeking out on trout fishing in rivers, this book is awesome. And I didn't know this. I've seen this book for years. It's not a new publication. They're actually really hard to get. But some of the pictures in these on the mayflies specifically are from the Skagit. And that's always been my problem with books on bugs, is it's like, are these local? Is this my local river? Is this going to help me? Or is it something from Montana or somewhere far afield where the biology might be just slightly different and the characteristics might be slightly different? But I can find almost all of the bugs on the Skagit, at least when it comes to mayflies, in this publication. And I give some really good tips. If you are geeking out on it, highly recommended. These are signed copies. There's, yeah, where we go, signed copy right there. We got 2 more of these in the shop. So if you're interested, I want to say they're $40, $45, something like that. Come on down, grab them. They're out of print, so it's the only opportunity. So get out on the Skagit, enjoy that. Note on the Skagit, the bull trout tend to slow down this time of year because they are starting to focus more on spawning. So I don't swing as many flies this time of year. I'm more focused on that dry fly hatch or nymphing hatch. Okay, I know many of you here for saltwater, and I am too. I'm excited. We're going to take all the boys out on Monday, and all the boats are out. All the guys are chomping at the bit. Now, the one sort of downer is I have looked at those Albion numbers and they don't look awesome. That doesn't always correlate because fish might be staging, and heck, that actually might be a good thing. The fish might be dragging their heels a bit, and we could see more fish coming, which would be great for the fall salmon fishery off the mouth of the Fraser. But just so you guys know, all the major areas are going to open on the 1st. Up until now, we've been stuck to the north shoreline, mouth of the Capilano, and then pretty much across the strait if you wanted to retain a Chinook. And there were numerous regulations when it came to slot limits. Those go away. We still have a minimum size, but the maximum size is open, and you are allowed to target Chinook right across the board. Now, note the inside of the banana, so to say, on the Fraser is still going to be closed, but that is usually fairly shallow water, so not many people are going to be fishing off there. Where do you want to target? Well, bellboy, T10, sandheads. We're going to do that whole circuit on Monday, and it should be good. And then don't sleep on across the strait. If things aren't going well at the mouth, you can go across and the fishing's good. Last year, we did the full tour. We did Bellboy, T10, Sandheads, went across Pollier Pass, Thrasher Rock, and then up to Entrance Island. Those are the best spots this time of year, and they should be hitting on all cylinders right now, so definitely get out there. Now, what to use? Well, bait becomes king this time of year. Why? Because the fish are a little bit more mature, they're a little bit pickier, and so most anglers will be fishing bait at all times, maybe with a combination of hoochies and spoons, but we want to have bait down there. This week, I finally got Jason in front of the camera, which I'm super pumped on. And he went over the teaser heads he's using and the flashes he's going to use for opening week. And basically, if you use these ones, you're not going to be wrong. You're going to be in the game. You're going to be able to catch fish. And so what you're going to do is brine up the bait. You're going to throw them in these teaser heads. You're going to run this style of flasher. And Jason goes into detail of why we might want glow versus high flash. In fairly high detail. So I want you guys to check out that. I'll link it up here. It's probably going to be a short just on Instagram. However, I'll put it at the back end of the video if you guys want to geek out more on saltwater fishing. All right, well, I wish everybody an excellent fall season. Get out there on the Chilliwack, get out there in the saltwater, get out there for the trout fisheries. And as always, you want to see more reports like this, consider hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to try to catch you in 2 weeks.